Hello, everybody, and welcome to tonight's Sugar Cravings event. Talking about diets, weight loss, sugar cravings. I want to give you a little bit of a background. I want to welcome all the new people. First of all, of course, we want to welcome the people who've been following us for a while. And I want to give a little bit of background. This is a teleconference. This is a special conference that we're doing right before Hanukkah, but it's also an added conference, an added part to this is a little bit of a celebration for us. This is hosted by Mindful Monday. For those of you who don't know what Mindful Monday is, yes, you are correct. It is not Monday, it is Sunday. You are not wrong. We do these Mindful Mondays. We started almost exactly 1 year ago next month. So, January of last year, we started to do these Mindful Mondays. And these Mindful Mondays are hosted by KTPO. Keep those pounds off. That is a company that I myself started. I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself in a couple of minutes. Coming up on 7 years ago. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about my story, a little bit about the history. I don't want to bore you too much because I know you came here to find out information. And that is exactly what I promised you that we are going to do here. It's very exciting what we have done. In the last year, we have put out so far 17 newsletters. We have had 36, 36 Mindful Monday sessions that are every other week, twice a month, usually on Monday, but sometimes comes out on Sunday as well as this week, and various topics from relationships to happiness, staying in your lane. We've gone through a whole milliard of different topics that we speak about, and we give chances and opportunity, as we will tonight, for people to ask questions. And the purpose of these Mindful Mondays that our company decided to do a year ago was, how are we going to get our message out to more people? How are more people going to find out? There are many people out there who struggle in many aspects. I know tonight we're talking specifically about diets, but there are people who suffer with anxiety. There are people who suffer from trauma. There are people who suffer from insomnia. To date, what we have helped several hundred people, not just with weight loss, but different aspects of of their lives. I want to read for you one of the testimonials that was sent to us a couple of years ago from an anonymous person. She just put herself down as Kaya from Brooklyn. Alan, for me to convey in words how you and your program are impacting my life is an impossible feat. But since words are my only tool, I will attempt it. To not just have lost my 35 pounds, but to finally have done it with an attitude of hope instead of despair. I finally have an outlook on my eating and, more importantly, on my life that is personally liberating and at the same time spiritually rewarding, is, as you often say, bliss. I've tried many times through different means over the past 2 decades or so to achieve long-term weight loss. And that perfect alignment you allude to, it was always beyond my grasp. I know there's still work to be done until the physical and emotional results set in. But at this point in the process, I can see where I'm headed, and the destination excites me. It is my sincere hope that my mere words have sufficiently captured the depth of my gratitude and appreciation for what you are doing for me. And this was written over 2 years ago, yet she has kept her weight off since then. Now, all of you should have received, and if you haven't, you can put in the chat an email about a workbook that we're going to be using tonight. This is a gift from us to you. And if you scroll down, you will see my before and after picture. And if you scroll down a little further, you're going to see a picture, a before and after picture of Yankee. Now, for those of you who live in Muncie, you know who Yankee Grunzweig is. Yankee Grunzweig is the owner of a restaurant called Kosher Castle. And he came to us 5 years ago with that before picture, weighing 370 pounds after three, not two, three failed bariatric surgeries. Currently, that picture that you see, the after picture, was taken about 3 years ago at 220 pounds. He's lost another 20 pounds since. He's kept off his 170-pound weight loss for over 4 years, something that he was never able to do. And if you ask him, and the reason why I tell you where he is, because I invite you to go and talk to him. He'll be more than happy to tell you, so I can show you the credibility of what I'm talking about. You'll be more than happy to explain to you what he did. And the truth is, he's not even sure. He just knows that he followed our program. And if you ask him what has been and I have asked him, what is the best thing that has happened to you in the KTPO process and keep those pounds off process? And he will tell you that the weight loss was the least reward, the least of the successes that he had in life. He looks at his weight loss as, that is like nothing compared to how his life has changed in so many ways. And I'll let you call him. He'll be happy to talk to you, and you can ask him yourself. Keep Those Pounds Off is a program that I developed about 7 years ago. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself and a little bit about my story, just to give you a little bit of authenticity about where you are and what we're doing. So I do believe that when you hear these stories, I do believe it's very important in life. We have so many prestigious stories that we hear over the years. Not that I'm comparing myself to those people. However, that when you do hear stories, it definitely gives you a sense of belonging, a sense of hope, and that's what we work on. My name, by the way, is Alan Nemtzov, for those of you who don't know who I am. And I'm a registered, board-certified, registered psychiatric nurse. I've been that way for 15 years. I'm also a certified health coach and a published author. But more important, seriously more important than my credentials, is the fact that I used to be 312 pounds. And in my life, I used food in order to, I wasn't sure what I was doing at the time. I'm only talking in retrospect after I got into recovery, that my food was my friend. My food was the only way that I could handle the emotions, from the emotional abuse, the neglect, the trauma that I went through in my childhood. Not to compare my trauma to anybody else's. It was what I went through. And I remember just one time I could not get a connection with my parents. I was not emotionally connected. They didn't know how to talk about these things. And I was not allowed to speak my mind. I was not allowed to express any type of disapproval for anything that was going on in my life. I had no voice. And how did I use my frustration? I used it through food. This is what I did. Food was my friend. And the reason was my friend because for me, it was available all the time. Why I chose food and not something else, I'm not totally certain. I don't know if there's any real reason, but food was basically my friend. And I remember one of the things that I can talk about in third grade, I came home from school with a 98 on a test. And I was absolutely ecstatic. Wow, I was so happy. I was thinking, wow, maybe I can get approval from my father, because I never got approval from him about anything. I only got criticism. So I thought this will be a great opportunity. And I showed him this test and I was so excited, got a 98. And he said, show me which one you got wrong. And he just blew the wind out of my sails. And my whole hope for that connection was something that led me way into my adulthood. And I became an average student after that. And I never really asked for anything. I never aspired anything because I was so downtrodden. The wind was blown out of my sails. My self-esteem was in the dump. And I didn't really have an identity. I wasn't able to do things that I wanted to do because my thought was, oh, I'm not good enough. I'll never be able to accomplish that. Until I reached a goal weight, a top weight, excuse me, I used the wrong term, of 312 pounds. And that's that before picture that you see in the workbook that you have. That was me in 2004. That was my last heavy picture that I have. And I have it, I have the original in my wallet. I carry it around with me all the time. I never forget that. I pray that I never forget that. And I found this program that taught me how to lose weight, which seems interesting because overeaters know how to lose weight. We know what we should eat, we know what we should not eat. But they guaranteed me that if I would follow their plan, I would lose 100 pounds in 9 months. That's what they told me. And that's what happened. I lost a little over 100 pounds. And that was in 2004. And after I lost my weight, I said, okay, how am I going to keep this off? I never knew, I had lost weight over the years. I lost 20 pounds, I lost 30 pounds, I lost 10 pounds. I lost 164 pounds, I remember, but I always gained it back. And I was never able to sustain any weight loss for any length of time. And they really didn't have a good maintenance program for me. And I said, okay, what am I going to do now? I'm 43 years old. How am I going to keep this weight off? So I decided, like, whenever you want to do something, you ask successful people. So I figured, let me go to skinny people. Because I would see them go to Kadeshim, I would see them go to Simchas, I would see them go to Yontif, and they wouldn't gain weight. I would always overeat, always overindulge. And I go, what do they know that I don't know? What is it that they have? And for the longest time, I believed it was my metabolism. And I remember when I went to the doctor because I had diabetes, and I went to my endocrinologist and I said, do me a favor, test my metabolism. And I was certain he was going to tell me that it's no good. I was certain because I used to joke around that if I look at a box of cookies, I have to loosen my belt. I was a 54 waist. I was wearing triple X clothes. I had three sizes of clothes in my closet. I had triple X for that current size. Then if I would lose a little weight, I had 2X. Then I had just extra large. Then I had large, never smaller than large. And when I did lose my weight, I didn't want to get rid of the larger clothes because subconsciously I knew that I was just going to gain it back anyway. So I don't want to go out and buy new clothes. I literally had 3 sets of clothes in my closet for years, 3 years. And he said to me, there's nothing wrong with your metabolism. And I was in shock. I go, no, that can't be. Can you do the test again? He says, no, I'm telling you, we took all the blood tests and there's nothing wrong with your metabolism. And it was really a shot in the arm for me. It was like that reality check. Whoa, this excuse that I've been using for decades is not even real. It's not true. There's nothing wrong with my metabolism. My mother was always on a diet. My grandparents were overweight. My aunt died from obesity and diabetes at age 60. So there was obesity in my family. I just figured that it was genetics. And he goes, no, it's not genetic. There's nothing wrong with your metabolism. And I just had to face the truth that I just overeat. That's the bottom line. I just eat too much. And people would tell me for a long time, oh, Alan, just stop eating. Can't you stop eating? And I would get criticized. And I couldn't. I tried. I really sincerely tried. And anybody who is currently been there through that or been there can really relate and understand how horrible it is to live that way. Because people who don't have an overeating problem really can't appreciate the embarrassment, the shame, the guilt, the frustration that people go through. And now they have the shots. And I think the shots are amazing. Yeah, I didn't have shots back then. I didn't have bariatric surgery. I tried every diet on the planet, but I didn't try that. We didn't have it back then. Yet statistics has already shown, they've only been around for 3-4 years. Statistics has already shown that people who go off the shots gain their weight back in 6 months. So statistics in general, 90% of overeaters who lose their weight, dieters who lose their weight, gain their weight back within a year. And the reason for that is, and this is where we're going to get to tonight, so I'm not just randomly telling you a story, but I just want you to know the reason for that is because people are missing a component about weight loss, but not just about weight loss. So if overeating is not your problem, I believe you can still benefit from tonight's session, and you may even know somebody who can benefit. So there you go again. It could be a relative, it could be a spouse, it could be a child of yours. It could be a sibling, could be a parent. The reason why is because we're missing a certain component. And I clawed my way through trying to find out what I need to know in order to keep my weight off. And I went to speak to skinny people. And I would go, what I used to do is I used to go to the supermarket and I would watch the shopping cart. So I'd already lost my weight, and I would watch, not stand there in front of them, of course, appropriate way. And I would see the types of food that were in the overweight cart. A lot of carbohydrates, a lot of junk food, a lot of processed foods. And then I would look in the carts of the skinny people. Their carts were not loaded up so much. Now, before Yom Tov, they were, but even those, they didn't have loads of bread and carbs and snacks. And if they did have snacks, they had healthy type of snacks. They had a lot of fruit. They had a lot of vegetables. They had a lot of proteins. They had very fresh, healthy food in their shopping cart. And then I would go to Simcha, and there was a smorgasbord, and I would observe the skinny people eating, and I would observe the overweight people eating. Now, the overweight people were me, so I wasn't judging them or making fun of them, because that's what I used to do. I would go my first plate, 6-inch plate, the cocktail plate, and go around. And the first one that I loaded up was really taste testing, right? This way, I needed to know what I liked. After I finished that, then I would go the next time and get the items that I did get, and thirds and fourths sometimes. Not always fourths, but thirds for sure. Then I would go and eat a regular meal, and I would get friendly with the waiter, and I would get a second portion. And then I would go to the Viennese table, to the sweet table, and do that all over again. That's what I used to do. Now, when I watched overweight people after I lost my weight, they did the same thing. Skinny people would take one cocktail plate, they would get 2 or 3 items. I rarely noticed a skinny person finish whatever their first plate of cocktail food on. Maybe they took one chicken wing and they ate a half of it. Maybe took a piece of kugel. They ate a half of it. They always left behind. I rarely saw an empty plate. Rarely, I'm not saying never, of a skinny person. And I go, wow, they really do eat less. I thought they didn't like to eat. But then when I interviewed them and talked to them, they said, no, we love to eat. And they do. They do love to eat. They don't like to overeat. And I had to figure out, what is it that they do? What do they have? And they had a certain relationship with food that I did not have. They planned, first of all, number one. So if they were going to have a simcha, they barely ate that day. The next 2 days, they were in the gym working out. So they had a system that they didn't even think about. I had to like drag it out of them, because they were doing this so naturally that they were so conditioned. They didn't even realize what they were doing. It was natural for them. And they seriously did not want to overeat. And I realized that they had something that I did not have. And I coined it the name, they had a skinny mind. And I had a fat mind. And this goes, I could sit here for hours talking about this. We teach it in our program. I'm just giving you little flavors, but I realized what they had, and I said, okay, I need to go after that. I'm not sure how I'm going to get it, because they couldn't explain it to me. They could only tell me what they were doing, but nobody could teach me how to get to that. And I researched, and I went back to school. I became a registered nurse, and I started to work in psychiatry, and I started to learn about the subconscious mind. And I started to learn about the conditioning that goes on. And I started to learn about childhood trauma. And I started to understand. And after 15 years of keeping my weight off, it was about 7 years ago, almost 7 years, I said, you know what? I've kept my weight off at the time for 15 years. I can help other people keep their weight off. I can teach them how to keep their weight off. And so the journey began. And we started this program, me and my partner. My son actually is my partner. And we started this program. And I wrote this program about weight loss. And it developed into trauma healing, anxiety reduction, a whole slew of things. We recently, fascinating, about 2 weeks ago, a lady who started the program 4 months ago, this woman is in her 50s. And she tells me, she says, Alan, I want you to know that I've been on 3 or 4 medications. Now, I'm a nurse, so she told me what the medications are. One of them is an anti-anxiety, one of them is an antipsychotic, and one of them is an antidepressant. Okay? So she's on 3, maybe 4, I don't remember, medications consistently for 20 years. 20 years. She's been religiously taking these medications daily for 20 years. She joined our program. She says, a month after I joined the program, I just stopped taking the medications. I said, I hope you went to a doctor. She says, no, I just stopped. She said, I haven't taken my medications for 3 months. This is a woman who was on medications for 20 years. This is not the first story that I've heard from people in our program. So what we do in our program is we really heal the source. And I'm going to teach you some of that tonight. So I hope you're excited to learn about this, because this is not something that you can just pick up somewhere. This is something that I've been working on for 21 years. But the truth is I've been working on it for 50 years because I failed multiple times. For 30 years, I failed the diet. 30 years. So anybody who's failed a diet, I know how you feel. I really do. I've been there. Anybody who is frustrated at different aspects of your life, who's having struggles with your relationships, with your children, with just functioning in life, I know how you feel. Why? Because I was there. I was there. And my experience combined with my research and education is what developed this program. That's why we can do what many other clinicians are unable to do. I work with clinicians all the time. I work with psychiatrists, I work with therapists, I work with psychologists, I work with social workers, I work with all these people in the hospital. Yet they can do what I can do. Now, some of them can do other things that I can't do, like the doctors, they can prescribe medication. I don't prescribe medication and I don't diagnose. I am not licensed to diagnose. I'm not licensed to prescribe. I can administer medication. I know what the medications are, and I can give my recommendations to the doctors if I feel that something's not working. I can give them recommendations. That's what the nurses do. And we do assess our patients. I don't diagnose, but I assess, and I give my assessment over to the doctor. The doctor is the one who actually does the diagnosis. However, what I can do in the healing, and I've helped many patients in my program, and I've spoken to my clinicians, my doctors, they know about my program, and they try to convey it, but they can't because they don't have the experience that I have. So I hope you're excited because we're going to cover that here tonight. We're going to have a Q&A afterwards. In other words, we're going to give you an opportunity to ask questions about what you're learning here tonight. So stick around, don't go away. This is an exciting time. We'll be here for about an hour or so. And I'm telling you up front what we're going to do. And we will come here again on December 29th. So I want you to know that everybody who's here tonight, because you texted in the word mindful, you will have access for free, just like you didn't pay anything for this tonight, for all our subsequent Mindful Mondays, all the newsletters that come out. We take a synopsis of a summary of what we spoke about for the month, and we put it in the newsletter form. You will have access to all that for free just for the fact that you came here because I'm on a mission. I'm going to tell you about my mission in a minute. So, in order to get to any goal, let's get started. So for those of you who have the workbook, you can see my before, and you have my after pictures, because here I am. That picture was taken about 2 years ago. So I'm about the same as I was back then. If you take out your workbook, and for those of you who did not have a workbook, you can put in the chat, please send me the workbook. If not, you'll be able to follow here, and we can get you the workbook afterwards also. It is our gift for you just for showing up. When a person tends to go out on some project, when they are trying to reach a goal. So a lot of people don't realize that there's 3 basic aspects to reach a goal. Any goal, not just weight loss, but any goal in life. The reason why a lot of people fail is because, for the most part, 2 of the aspects they fail to focus on. The one aspect of where they want to go, of course, if you don't know where you want to go, how do you even start? So where you want to go, by the way, is not the criteria to reach your goal. That alone, in of itself, it's almost like a stool. Stool has 3 legs. And if you're missing one of the legs, that stool is going to fall over. The same thing with trying to reach a goal. If you're trying to reach a goal and all you know is where you want to go, You're missing the other two legs. You may get there slowly or convoluted, but it won't last. Guaranteed, it won't. You need all three aspects. A lot of people don't realize this. So, number one, you have to know where you're going. If you don't know where you're going, of course, you don't even know how to start. Number two, and this, anybody who has a GPS knows this. Number two is, where are you now? If you don't know where you are now, you don't know where you want to go. And I give an example. Let's say you're going to an amusement park, right? You take your kids to the amusement park and you look on the directory and you go, wow, let's go on that ride. Let's go on the water slide. Let's go on the merry-go-round, whatever it is, right? And it shows you where the destination is. So you know where you want to go. However, there's one more piece of information on every directory. And your GPS does the same thing if you use GPS. From every directory, it gives you one more piece of information, because without that piece of information, you may still get to your goal, but it's going to be really difficult. There is a red circle or a big X, and it says three words. You are here. If you don't know where you are, it's going to be very difficult to get to where you want to go. See, once you know where you are, so you have a point of reference, and you know where you want to get to, now all you get to figure out is what is the quickest way between point A and point B, right? Imagine you get to the airport and you say, okay, I want to go to Miami. Okay, great. Do you know where you are? No. Imagine if the pilot didn't know where they were. Just telling them where to go is not enough. And your GPS does the same thing. I know that's a crazy example, but your GPS does the same thing, where you put in an address and you say, okay, we want to get directions to go to this place. And it will ask you, my location. Anybody who has a GPS knows it says my location, because that is the only way the GPS is going to show you the quickest, fastest, and safest way to get to your destination if you have those 2 points of information. So you must know where you are, besides just knowing where you want to go. And a lot of people in certain things in life really only ask them the latter. They really just ask themselves, where do I want to go? Where are you now? We don't typically ask that question of where we are now. It's not a common question that we ask, but it is absolutely imperative in life. But the third question is the most important question if you want to be successful at achieving any goal. So when it comes to weight loss, where do you want to go? I want to be 140 pounds. Great. How much do you weigh now? I don't know. How do you know you're not happy with where you are? What is your waist size? I don't know. Or what's your dress size? I don't know. You need to know where you are to know where you want to go. Because if you just want to get to 140 pounds, you don't realize that you're 200 pounds right now. Oh, I need to lose 60 pounds. That's already a different story. Nothing wrong with it. Maybe you're only 155 pounds and you feel bloated and you feel more. You need to know where you are. You got to get on the scale. You got to measure your waist, measure your butt, measure your hips. Because a lot of times we lose weight in inches, but we don't actually lose it on the scale. Especially if you're an active individual, you're going to gain muscle, and muscle weighs more than fat. So the scale is not going to show, and you're going to get frustrated. But in truth, you are shrinking. You're just turning fat into muscle, which is the best thing to do. So you need to know where you're at, and you need to know where you want to get to. Number three is by far the most important thing, and this is what our program focuses on primarily, is why do you want to get there? Why do you want to get there? It's obvious. We're going to see if it's obvious. We're going to ask for a couple of volunteers in a couple of minutes. So get ready. I hope we have a couple of people who, and I do ask that these people are not currently in our program, who are going to volunteer themselves. We're going to use them to help as examples, 2 or 3 people. And we do this, we've been doing this for years. It's a great thing. So turn, for those of you who have the workbook, turn to page 3 of your workbook. And again, if you don't have it, it's fine. I will read it for you. So he said, why are you here? You took out your time. I know you didn't spend money, but you did spend your time and you could be doing other things. And you decided, you saw the ad, and you decided to join, for some reason, this session tonight. Why are you here? Are you here? I don't know. Maybe you're here to learn how to lose weight. Maybe you're here to learn how to reduce your anxiety. Maybe you're just here for some information. Maybe you're struggling with certain things, and that's why you're here. Maybe you have a relative. Maybe you don't actually have a problem, or you don't think you do, and a relative of yours does, but you want to learn about it so you can help them. Why are you here? So answer in the workbook, you have some free space, some lines. Write down why you are here. Then, why is that important for you? Okay. And I'm going to give you some examples, and then I'm going to use myself as an example to explain. So if it's about weight loss, typically, why are you here? I'm here to learn how to lose weight. Great. Why is that important for you? I'm too fat. I'm sick and tired of being overweight. Okay. And why is that important for you to lose weight? I want to look good and I want to feel good, which is the typical answer. Not usually the real answer, but the typical first answer. And when I say the real answer, because there is a deeper reason behind it, which we're going to get to when we get to our theory, our first theory tonight. I want to look good and I feel good. Why do you want to look good and you want to feel good? I want other people, I don't want to be embarrassed when I go out in public. Okay. So you're concerned about what other people think about you. Yes, that is what I am saying. Weight loss is not the answer for that problem. You're going down the wrong road. Because if you feel embarrassed about what other people think about you, it has nothing to do with what other people think about you, because you have no idea what people think about you. And you losing weight is not going to change their opinion. So let's go back again to somebody else. Okay, why are you here? Because I want to feel good. I want to look good. I want to feel good. Why? Because I want to live long. I want to be healthy. I want to be there for my grandchildren and my great-grandchildren. Beautiful. Why is that important for you? Because I want to be there for the chasnas. I want to live the life that I want to live. Wonderful. Why is that important for you? Because I want to leave a legacy and teach my grandchildren the purpose in life, and it gives me a purpose for living. Wow. That's a lot more heavy than just look good and feel good, right? That's the real why. That person is going to lose weight more than the first person because they uncovered their why. Why do they want to lose weight? Because they want to live long. Why do they want to live long? Because they want to be there for the grandchildren. Why do they want to be there for the grandchildren? Because they want to teach them about the purpose in life and live a purposeful life. That is much more powerful than just I want to look good and feel good. Do you see how it works? So once you decide this, and again, you can take this workbook with you, as I stated, and you can do it later on your own. And I'm going to answer the questions for me as honest as I can. So now that you just determine why you're here, on a scale of 1 to 10, how important is for you to achieve that goal today? In other words, how important is it for you to start your journey reaching your goal? Now, if you say, I'll start on Monday, I guess it's not that important for you. I guess you haven't reached a why that is important for you. Because if you're a 5 or a less on importance, you're what we call a wisher or a whiner. And wishers who are whiners, they have a mindset of a Monday mindset. Yes, I'll start on Monday. I'll start my diet on Monday. I'll start my diet tomorrow. The reason is not because they don't want that they don't want to lose weight. The problem is that they haven't discovered the why yet. The why for them is not strong enough. Yeah, I want to lose some weight. Right now, I want to eat the cocoa cake. Oh, I'll start my diet. If you have that mindset of only if only I do this, then I'll start my diet. If only I had more time, right? The if only mindset. If only I could do this. Yeah, I know that. I was there. But when I got to a point where I couldn't take it anymore, That's when I started to lose weight. So if you're not there yet, I understand it. So that's why you got to ask yourself. That's why we need to know, once again, where are you now? Knowing where you want to go is insufficient to reach your goal. You need to know, where are you now? And if you cannot determine your why with at least a 7 or higher, and be honest with yourself, all that means is you're just not ready yet, which is fine. At least you know where you're at. If we were able to uncover for you where you're at tonight, that's huge, because then you're not that frustrated. You're just not that frustrated anymore, because you realize, you know what? I'm just not ready yet. My why is not strong enough, which happens to many people. It was true for me for 30 years. I didn't know this, but in retrospect, I didn't have a strong enough why. So I'm going to tell you, why am I here? Why am I here? Why am I doing this? I told you about my story, a little bit about it. I told you that I was criticized. I didn't tell you all the horrible eating habits that I had. Not that I'm trying to hide anything, but I'm going to tell you why I do this, and why I created the program that I created, and why I do what I do. And the reason is that, why am I here? I'm here to teach as many people as I can the secret, yeah, they are secrets, to the solution that I have discovered to maintain my weight loss and my control of food intake and sugar intake for over the past 20 years. That has dramatically changed my life. So I'm here to teach as many people as possible. That's why we do these things for free, to get our message out to as many people as possible, to teach them what has dramatically changed my life. Why is that important for me? Because the more people that I help confirm for me that these solutions that I live by, they're attainable by anybody. Why is that important for me? Because the more people that are successful with my solutions confirms for me that all the 30 plus years of pain and suffering that I endured were not a waste of time, but they were purposeful, not just for my life, for all the people that I am helping. That's a very powerful why. Why is that important? Because it strengthens my belief in the creator of the universe, about life, that there are just no mistakes in God's kingdom. And it gives me, again, this is very personal, I'm being totally transparent here. It gives me true purpose in my life. And that is why I do what I do. That is why I keep going. That's why I talk with passion. That's why I work on getting as many people in to help, because it has such a profound effect on my personal life. And I am on a mission to help 100 million people, yes, reach their true happiness, one person at a time. And we've helped several hundred in the past few years. So we're well on our way. So I'd like to get a couple of volunteers. You can unmute. Just please make sure that, Darren, that they can unmute. You can press *6 to unmute. I don't need your name yet. Who would like to volunteer to gain? You will gain something from this, I promise you. Again, not people from the program. Let me see if anybody has unmuted. Let's see if we can get 2 volunteers. If we don't, but so far, every time we've done this, the people who ask questions have had great rewards from volunteering. I need 2 volunteers who would like to do this work with me. I will do it with you, so we can determine why you are here. Anybody? Let me give it a minute. Let's go to 5-1. 5-1, why are you here?
I
5-1, can you hear me?
Yeah, I want to.
You gotta speak a little louder, please.
Speaker. Other than to line 1. Big line 1.
5-1. You want to what?
I said I want to lose weight and look good.
You want to lose weight. Okay. How much weight do you want to lose?
Okay. Like 20? Yeah.
So you
30?
not like how many?
10 pounds?
Do you want to lose 10 pounds or do you want to lose 20 pounds?
20.
You want to lose 20 pounds. Okay. Why do you want to lose 20 pounds?
I want to keep up my goal and be look good.
Again?
I said I want to look good
Okay. Why do you want to look good?
because if I feel good and feel healthy, I will great feeling.
So you want to look good in order to feel good.
Yeah.
And why do you want to feel good?
Why do I want to feel good? Because I hate feeling like this.
I'm sorry?
The way it's feeling now.
You don't like how you feel now. So your reason is that you want to look good so you don't feel not good, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And that's it? Because you just don't want to not feel good?
Yep.
Okay. So I'm going to tell you that your why is not strong enough. And that's probably why are you struggling with weight loss? Yeah, because you haven't really determined what it is about feeling good that it means for you. Make sense? So my recommendation, may I give you a recommendation?
Sure.
My recommendation is for you have to really ask yourself, not now, on your own, why is it important for me to feel good? Why am I trying to feel good? And what I'm not feeling good about? Because somebody with that answer, even if you lose the 10 or 20 pounds, you're still not going to feel good because it's not the weight that's not helping you feel good. Now, how can I say that? I don't know you. I don't know who you are. I don't know anything about you. But I'm telling you that based on this why is just not strong enough.
Right.
So I want to thank you for your courage. I want to thank you for unmuting. And at least now you know what you have to work on because once you determine that, why you want to feel good, more than I just don't want to not feel good, you will succeed in weight loss. I promise you. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you.
You too. Thanks.
We did that with 5164.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes, hello.
Hi. Okay. So why are you here, sir? That's a sir. I'm assuming it's a sir. I don't know.
Yes, I am a sir. I've been called
You are a
worse.
sir. Okay.
I feel that I don't feel comfortable with my current weight physically. Not necessarily an emotional thing, but I don't walk well. My endurance is down. My ability to bend and stretch and my flexibility is negatively impacted. So it's a general quality of life issue. I'm not very overweight. I'm just a very small guy. So even by adding 25 pounds, it's a major impact.
So I just want you to know that, first of all, I empathize with you. I've been there. That if you are physically being affected by your weight, it is affecting you emotionally as well. Because if you are struggling, moving around, or bending down, getting into a car, getting out of a car, if your shoelaces are untied, if you're going up the stairs and it's hard to breathe, that is definitely impacting your emotional aspect as well. You may not want to admit that or look at that, but I can tell you from experience and knowledge that it is affecting you emotionally on probably a more of a level than you understand. Does that make sense so far?
That makes sense. Yeah, there is obviously the effect of being negatively impacted physically has an emotional ramification.
Absolutely.
Puffing up the stairs is not something I'm very happy about.
If you're not happy, then you're frustrated, correct?
Yes.
If you're frustrated,
I know what it feels like to be my ideal weight, and how I move and act and my endurance and my wind and everything else that functions when I'm at my ideal weight is something I'd love to get back to.
oh, I believe you will. So we're gonna try to help you with that. How's that? So you told me why you want to lose weight is because you're unhappy and uncomfortable with your current weight, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so why is that important for you to lose that weight, to heal that?
Because I'm interested in having a life that is unburdened by the difficulties that are attendant to being overweight.
Okay, beautiful. But I just want not just you to know, this is for everybody else. If you notice, both of the first two callers were both about feeling good or looking good. You see that, yes?
Yes.
That is a common answer for overeaters. The first answer is always look good and or feel good. Everybody, whether you're male or female, doesn't matter. That is our first answer, is either to look good and or to feel good, which is both the first caller. So this proves my point a little bit. Great. So you want to feel good because your life is being negatively impacted by the struggles of your overweight, correct?
Correct.
Okay, beautiful. Why is that important for you? To heal those things that are negatively impacting your endurance and your physical aspect in life.
Correct.
Why? Why is that important for you? To heal that.
I thought I just answered that question.
I'm sorry?
I thought I just answered that question.
No, you told me that you don't feel comfortable struggling with that.
Yes, I'm unhappy with my physical performance as I'm carrying around extra weight.
I understand that.
Yeah.
So why is that important to heal that discomfort of carrying around this extra weight, other than the endurance?
Because then you get back to normal living, which is much more enjoyable than living in an incapacitated fashion.
So you don't want to be incapacitated, and you want to live a more free, physically free life if you lose the weight, correct?
Correct.
And why is that important for you?
To me, that's self-understood that anyone wants to live an optimal.
Not self-understood. I'm asking you
I want to
personally.
live optimal rather than suboptimal.
I'm sorry?
I want to live optimal versus suboptimal.
Beautiful. Why?
Because that's what gives life its joy and its importance and its reward and its richness, and it allows opportunities that aren't available when you can't get up a set of stairs.
Okay, so you just add, so you realize, right? So you just added things, right? So you went from the discomfort, the physical discomfort, right? That's where you started, to wanting to live a more joyous, rich, purposeful life. Do you see the difference? Now, you may have thought that when you first answered, but you see how this brought out more of what really why you want to lose weight. Doesn't it give you a much richer reason to lose that weight, explaining that?
I suppose so. I guess that was always the understood. It was always the unstated reason, but now that it's stated.
Well, this is the whole point of it, that when it's understated, that is not enough for things to happen. We have to bring it out to the light and get it out clear so that we can explain clear. So you want to live a full, rich, fulfilling life, yes?
Yes.
Why?
Why do I want to live a rich, fulfilling life?
Correct.
Because that's the optimal way of living. That's the most enjoyable, fulfilling, and rewarding.
So
way
it's
to
just
live.
because it's enjoyable?
One is happy. One is a life of happiness. One is a life of diminished happiness. I mean, the choice is
I
obvious.
understand. So you want to live, so you want to lose weight in order to be happy,
Happier.
happier.
Yes.
And why is it important for you to live happier?
I'm not sure where this is going. I'll be honest with you.
No, I understand. These seem to be childish questions. Of course I want to be happier. Why would I want to be happier?
Exactly.
But you still haven't uncovered what it is about being happier that is important for you. See, if somebody would have asked me this before I lost my weight, I may have gotten to where you're up to in the answers, and that would have been it.
So what's
I
the
would
next
not
step?
have been able to answer more deeply what is really the reason why I want to live happy.
What would you say? Why would you want to be happy? How would you answer that
The
question?
reason why I would want to live a happier life is because by me living a happier life, I am more purposeful in the life that I live. I can be more of service. I am more focused and content and connected. And it's not just a rich life, but it's a truly purposeful life for me. Whereas if I'm unhappy, I really don't feel very purposeful, and I'm more existing than living. I don't really feel that I'm alive and living. So for me, living happy means living a very fulfilling and purposeful life. And that is the life that I choose. So you were almost there, but not quite to understand it on this deep level. Make sense?
It makes sense.
And the reason why I'm like busting your chops a little bit, I'm not trying to be cruel. It's really important for a person to understand why, on a very deep subconscious level, of why it is they want what they want. When you understand that, does that make your desire to want to reach your goal weight stronger?
I'm not sure it does.
Okay.
In other words, the many people do live for a purpose. They're purpose oriented, and that's obviously a
I'm
higher.
I'm not talking about many people. I'm just talking about you.
Okay, so I feel I am driven by purpose, but even if I weren't, there's still the missing happiness element is sufficient motivation to want to lose the weight.
So my question to you is, why haven't you lost your weight thus far?
Weakness of character.
Okay, so that's what you believe. So weakness of character actually answers why you're not able to answer further.
It's a lack of discipline. It's the Yetzer Hara.
That's the logical answer. There are deeper reasons behind it. And again, I'm not trying to criticize you, and I hope you're not taking it as criticism.
No, not at all.
That there are deeper beliefs that you have that are blocking you to get to what you truly want. And one of them is not being able to admit to yourself the true, real reason of why you want it. That's not strong enough yet. And that is why you were unable to answer it at the next level.
Can you tell me what the reason might be?
Why the reason what?
The reason might be that I'm not able to that I'm not recognizing the component that's blocking the progress?
Yeah, there is probably some type of deep-seated belief that you have that is not allowing you to get what you want on your subconscious level.
A deep-seated belief?
Yes, it's not. I'm sorry? 1 minute, let me mute that person. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I don't know. I'm not sure who's talking now. You want me to answer the?
No, what did you say? I didn't hear what you responded.
Yes, I just wanted to, how do I discover, assuming that you're correct and there's a deep-seated belief that's blocking progress, how do I uncover, discover, reveal this?
Let me ask you a question. Are you sitting down?
Yes.
Yes. So I want to put your hands on your lap or on the table next to you, okay? I want you to turn your palms upward.
Yes.
You got it? Your palms are facing the ceiling?
Yeah.
Okay. Your left side represents your true want. Your true want is to lose weight, correct?
Yes.
And to be happy, correct?
Yes.
Your right hand represents your what we call a coping mechanism want, which wants you to overeat, whatever that means for you, correct?
Yeah.
So one of them is the right side is to make healthy choices, and the left side is to overeat, correct?
Okay.
Are these two opposites?
The two hands?
What they're representing, yeah.
Yes.
They're two opposites, so they both cannot win, correct? So my question to you is, which want wins?
You mean right now?
In general, now that you're struggling with weight loss, which want wins? Yes.
The coping mechanism.
Why?
Right now, it's the stronger of the two impulses.
So that is the logical answer. That the one that is stronger is going to win. But that's not the real answer. See, there's a belief that you have, that you don't know yet, that the overeating, maybe it's going to make you feel better for the moment. Maybe it's going to satisfy a fear, numb a feeling, I don't know what. And the want to lose weight and to be healthy, you haven't discovered a belief that's strong enough for that one to win, because the want that follows the belief will always win. So we don't know yet what those beliefs are.
Which
The
one always
logical
wins?
answer, it depends on the mood. It depends on what the food is. Depends how I'm feeling. Depends which one is stronger. Those are logical answers, but that's not the real answer. And I come to you from 50 years experience and knowledge. So there is a belief that you have that is preventing you from getting your true want, because you seem to be an extremely intelligent individual, and I'm certain that you're successful in many areas of your life. However, when it comes to reaching your goal weight, you seem to struggle with it. True?
It's elusive. Yeah, very elusive.
Yeah. And that's because there's a belief. What that belief is, we're not going to do now. That's a process.
I have to discover that, otherwise I'm not going to be successful.
100%.
How do I discover it?
Our program does that. That's what our program does. If you want to find out about the program, I can have somebody get in touch with you and we can talk to you about it. We're not going to do that now. I want to get to the next person. But that's what we do.
Yes.
Okay. Absolutely. And thank you for your honesty and your candor. I really appreciate it.
Sure. My pleasure.
8-1, your last person. We're not going to do the fourth one. 8-1. Are you still there? Hello? 8-1. If not, we'll go on. Your last numbers are 8-1. You are unmuted. I just do not hear you. And if you finish talking, if you can mute yourself also. 8-1, are you there? If not, we'll move on to the next person. Okay, they're not responding. Maybe they're not available. Okay, so let's move on. So now that you've determined a little bit, you see the importance of finding out why you want a goal why you want to reach a certain goal. And that's the only way to get to a goal, because if your why, as you saw with these individuals, if you get to a why that is not strong enough, you will not be able, you will continue to suffer. You just won't be able to reach not just weight loss goal, but any goal. So now that you've determined why you want to lose weight, and we determine on a scale of 1 to 10 how important it is. Now, if you really want something, you just don't know what the why is, and it's a 7 or greater, you are ready. If it's not, you're just not ready yet. And we're going to explain to you how that happens. So once you determine what it is and going through the workbook, who do you trust? Who do you trust to reach that goal that you want? Do you trust yourself? Probably not. But I still ask the question. And we'll ask it at the end of again, not tonight's session, but we will next time we meet on the 29th. Hopefully all of you, and you can invite more people because we will do a brief review when we meet again after Hanukkah in 3 weeks. And that's, by the way, why we did this now. It's a week before Hanukkah, before donuts, before all those delicacies. And we want to be able to get you through that without gaining a tremendous amount of weight. And by the way, the donuts are not the problem. I promise you that. So who do you trust to reach that goal? Do you trust yourself? Do you trust the process? Probably not, because you don't even know what the process is. You trust others? Maybe you need an accountability person. Maybe you need somebody, oh, I want you to watch what I eat. That never really works, right? So just ask yourself that question just to plant seeds. So now let's talk a little bit more scientific for a moment. And the reason why we call this sugar cravings is because it's the cravings, obviously, that we're referring to. The hunger cravings, not necessarily sugar. Not everybody likes sweet. But when I say sugar is because it's a general term. Anything that you eat turns into sugar. And the reason for that is because we need sugar to fuel our body. We need energy. The gasoline, or even now they have electric vehicles. So the gasoline that is for your car is your sugar, your glucose. And it comes in many forms. It comes in the food we eat, it's stored in the liver, and then it gets excreted into the rest of the body. So let's talk about the pros of sugar in general. And again, sugar can be a cheese sandwich. It's also sugar because it's going to break down and turn into sugar. Well, it tastes good, right? It feels good when you eat it. That's number one. It increases your dopamine in the brain. A lot of you know what dopamine is. It's a hormone, a pleasure hormone in the brain. So again, it feels good. It gives you pleasure. Number three, it not only fuels the hormones in the brain, but it also fuels the nervous system. So it allows you to increase your concentration, right? If you're tired, so if you put some sugar in your coffee, or if you eat some sugar, it's going to give you energy so you can keep going. If you had a rough night's sleep, but you have small children, you get up in the morning and you got to take care of some kids to get them out to the bus, you're going to need some energy to get going. So you may ingest some sugar in order to make that happen. And lastly, it increases your energy levels, like we just said, right? It gives you concentration. It gives you more energy. So to recap, tastes good, right? Feels good. It gives you pleasure. It increases your concentration and gives you energy. Wow, phenomenal. That's a great drug. Sugar is a great drug. It is not the number one drug that people are addicted to in America. I want you to know sugar is not. Caffeine is the number one drug that people are addicted to in America. Caffeine. Because caffeine does a lot of the same stuff. It doesn't taste good like sugar is because it's bitter, but it definitely increases your energy and your concentration. Now let's look at the downside to sugar. Studies have shown that it negatively impacts your metabolism. So by diminishing your fats and your carbohydrate digestion. So when you eat fats and carbohydrates, because you have excess sugar in your body, that process of metabolizing fats and carbohydrates gets slowed down. So not only do you gain weight because it has calories, but it also stops the metabolism and the nourishing process of fats and carbohydrates. Sucks, right? Studies have also shown that it negatively affects your immune system. I remember when I was working during COVID, I was in the hospital, and I'm still working in the hospital, but when I was working in the emergency room, we had a tractor trailer outside, which was a mobile morgue for the amount of people that had died through COVID. Very sad, very difficult time, especially if you were a first responder. If you lost somebody, it was also a very difficult time for people worldwide, not just here in America. And the percentage of people who were overweight during COVID, I believe it was over 60%, something like 63 or 65%, if I remember correctly, of the people that died from COVID. It's because their immune system was lower. And when the COVID-19 virus went into them, their immune system could not fight it off. Horrible. So it negatively affects your immune system. So people think, oh, I just need to lose weight, no big deal. It can really have an impact on your health. It decreases your energy. Why? We just said that it increases your energy because after you eat sugar, and however long you keep going because of that energy, eventually it wears off and you become tired and you have less energy. It also increases fatigue. It makes you tired. Why? Because when you ingest sugar, your body's going at extra strength. It's almost like a car. You're revving the car. And eventually your body's going to become tired because you're wearing it out. It causes weight gain because it's high in calories. It's going to affect your longevity, how long you're going to live, because like I said, it increases that energy. So your body is overworking. And if your body overworks, the body, which is just a machine, is just not going to last as long. And lastly, it's a highly addictive drug. In other words, if you consume a lot of sugar and sweets, you can become addicted to it, which I wasn't really addicted to sugar. I was addicted to food. And that's why we're saying here, it's not just sugar, it's food. The excess of food turns to sugar. So much so that if you stop abruptly, we get people who come to the program, it takes 30 days to detox if you ingest a lot of sugar. 30 days. You're going to experience withdrawal just like a cocaine or a heroin addict. It is a drug. And some of those are headaches, lethargy that you can have. So the cons, the negative side of the sugar is it slows your metabolism, it lowers your immune system, it makes you tired when you crash, it causes fatigue, it causes weight gain, and it's addictive. So you need some sugar. They need some sugar. How does one reduce the intake of sugar so it doesn't become detrimental? Because we said there are pros to sugar. You need energy, right? You need some energy. You need some sugar to survive. Too much sugar is no good. Well, this is going to bring us to our first theory, and we're going to be done in about 20 minutes tonight, and then we're going to open up for Q&As. Our first theory, and if you open up your book to page 6, this is the number one theory, and this is something that I was trying to help the callers who are unmuted. The number one theory is that humans do not do random. I repeat, human beings do not do random. Every single thing that we do for a reason. Everything we do for a reason. There is nothing that we do that is not for a reason. There is a reason behind, whether you want to believe it or not. There is a reason. And like I was talking to that gentleman, when you have those two wants. So there's self-talk. If you look at it, we start with self-talk. We have voices in our head that talk to us. Then after the self-talk, we come to a belief. I'm not good enough. I can't do this. I've tried so many times. I failed. Humans don't do what they want. They don't do what they like. I'm sorry. They do what they want. I'll give you an example. There are people who go to work. Why do people go to work? There's different reasons. Not everybody likes to go to work. They go to work because they want to go to work. There are people who have children. Why do you have children? You have children because you want to have a mishpacha. You want to have children. Now, you know that there's obligations, there are difficulties in raising children. You have to get up in the middle of the night. I ask young people all the time, if your child wakes up in the middle of the night and has a fever, let's say, or you got to change a diaper, do you hesitate to wake up? No, absolutely. Don't think twice about it. Get up, jump out of bed, break your sleep. Do you like getting up in the middle of the night and breaking your sleep? No. I haven't met anybody that really likes it. They like to attend to their child, but they don't like their sleep being broken. Why do they do it? Because they want to have a family. They want to have children. So they understand that our wants is what fuels how we behave. Everything that we do because we want to. How do we choose the different wants? That comes from a belief. If we want to have a family, we don't look at the likes of the challenges that come with raising children. We understand that's not an issue because we believe, why do we do it? So again, we believe that having children and raising a mishpacha is the proper thing for us to do. It's a belief. That's what we believe. That's why we do it. There are people who don't want to have children. It's not that they don't like kids. They don't want to have children. And they'll give you the excuse. It's too difficult. I have to wake up in the middle of the night. You wake up in the middle of the night to help your kid, and then you got to get up a few hours later to get the other children off to school. You will do it without hesitation. Why? Again, because you believe that having children is the proper thing, the purposeful thing for you to do as the person that you are. That's why you do it, because you want it. Human beings do what they want. They don't do what they like, which is this theory that human beings do not do random. So I'm going to use the gym as an example, right? Person wants to go to the gym, so you can understand this concept a little bit better. The person wants to go to the gym. Yeah, I'm going to start after Yontif. I'm going to go to the gym, right? Anybody ever have those thoughts, right? It's so difficult to go to the gym. You know what? I'll start tomorrow. You know what? I'll start tomorrow. You know what? Maybe I'll sign a membership. That will motivate me to go. So they pay for a membership. Oh, I can't stand going. Do they ever go? No, absolutely not. And they keep trying to change their behavior and keep trying to go to the gym. So how do you get this person to go and do exercise? They think it's too difficult. They don't like it. So you tell this person, a friend comes over and says, hey, I'll tell you what, let's go for a walk around the block, 10-minute walk. Okay, I can do that. They go around the block 10 minutes and go, wow, that was fantastic. Let's do it again. Great. 2 days later, they go for a walk. Slowly, they're doing that 2-3 times a week. The 10 minutes becomes 15 minutes. The 15 minutes becomes 20, then 30 minutes. They're loving it. Eventually, they say, you know what? It's coming the winter. It's cold. Let's go to the gym. So they sign up and they go to the gym and they start working out on the treadmill or on the staircase or yoga, whatever it is. So what changed? Their behavior? Ultimately, their behaviors did change. Yes, absolutely. But really what changed? What changed was their belief about the gym. The truth is, before we get to that, their attitude about the gym. Now they have an attitude that the gym is great. In other words, their belief changed about the gym. Before they had a belief that exercise is difficult. Exercise is so hard. I don't like it. Now they have a belief, wow, this is great. It feels so good. The dopamine and the endorphins. When I exercise, I feel fantastic. I love the gym. Now their belief about the gym is that's the place that I love, not that a place that is difficult. Is it difficult? Oh, yeah. It's still just as difficult at times. What changes their attitude? How did their attitude change? Because their belief about the gym changed. It all comes from their belief. Because people, they try to go to the gym, they're trying to change their behaviors. And if you look on that page, we go down, because we've taken a little bit of extra time, I didn't want to expound on this too much, but this lesson is a very deep and profound lesson. And once again, I could talk about it for hours, but I don't want to take up too much of your time. If you see in the box, we have self-talk, belief, want, and attitude, because that's all our program works on. We work on the attitude. Because once your attitude changes, meaning your perception about yourself and about life, your thoughts will change. When your thoughts change, your emotions change. When your emotions change, now your actions change. Once your actions change, your behaviors, and if you do behaviors long enough, your habits will change. So people want to stop their eating habits. They just keep trying to change their behaviors. It doesn't work. Like we said, we have to get to the why, because the why is the belief that is in your subconscious. Once you are able to change that and uncover what that is, your attitude about weight loss is not anymore about restricting yourself from eating things. No, it's about nourishing your body. It's about giving yourself vitality, giving yourself life. That's the attitude change that can only come when you work on your beliefs. For those of you who have heard this for the first time, it may seem a little bit overwhelming and a little bit confusing. And I understand it. I understand that it can be. There's a reason that I've kept my weight off for 21 years, is because I learned this. I understood it well. I didn't learn it. I created this. I discovered it, should I say. And I discovered that this is what I needed to change. The skinny person doesn't gain weight because they have a strong belief that being overweight is a horrible thing that they don't want. And their belief is that staying skinny is the best thing they can do for themselves. And that is the worst thing. But they won't even come close to it, not because their behaviors are different than ours. No. They have a very strong belief about the negative aspect about overeating. They will never get to it. Overeaters, we want to overeat. I know it sounds crazy, but we really do, is because we're trying to distract a certain emotion, a certain pain. And we're going to get into that in a couple of weeks, next time we're here. And I am going to get into a drop tonight in a couple of minutes. But before I do that, I just want to do a little recap of tonight so you can understand it. I know that there's a lot of information here. There really is. I really get it. And it's hard to comprehend all of it. I understand that. Once again, this is coming from 50 years of research, 30 years of multiple failures, and 20 years of success. So let's recap a little bit. We said that the most important thing in reaching your destination is all three things. You got to know where you're at. You got to know where you want to go. And the most important thing, you got to know why. And that's why we spent extra time in it, because that is by far the most important thing. So your destination is based on your why. And if you're unable to reach your destination because your why has not been clarified yet. We spoke about the pros and the cons of sugar, how it's energy, how it tastes good, how it feels good, it increases your concentration. But we talked about the negative impacts of what it does to you. It lowers your immune system. It is addictive. It will reduce the years that you are alive. And knowing that, as strange as it may seem, is not strong enough for an overeater to stop overeating. It's crazy. That's why weight loss is really not logical. It's emotional. That's what we teach. It's not logical. We all try to figure it out logically. So I want you to know my team and I have gotten together and we say, how can we help more people? We have a 6-week program where people lose 98% success rate. People lose 6 to 15 pounds. And we normally charge $700 for the 6 weeks program. 6 week program comes with a workbook like we have here. It comes with pre-recorded sessions. It comes with Q&As like we had before, where people can talk to me and the other coaches that we have work with us every week. And you get access to that for 6 weeks, and you will lose 6 to 15 pounds. Yes, 98% success so far in the last almost 7 years. So we want to offer a discount because it's Hanukkah. So we decided we're going to reduce the price, make it more affordable, because like I said, we're on a mission, we want to help more people. And we're offering a discount for $549 for the 6 weeks. And we're talking to the team, we think before Hanukkah, we really want to help people. We really want people to join so that we can help them live the life that they deserve. Because how it impacts the rest of your family is incredible. And I'm going to tell you a story about somebody in a little bit. I already told you the 2 stories about the person in the beginning who went off their medications for 20 years, and the other 2 people, one lost 35 pounds, kept it off, and Yankee, who's lost 160, 170 pounds and kept it off already 5 years. So we're going to do a one-time offer, one time, okay? This is just till midnight tonight. We're going to extend our 6-week program. We're going to get a bonus of 2 weeks. Why is that important? Because now it becomes an 8-week program. In an 8-week program, based on that calculation, you will lose 8 to 20 pounds. 8 to 20 pounds. It doesn't matter whether you're taking shots, whether you're taking pills to lose weight. It's not important. We'll give you a food plan to follow. We'll give you a diet, the same one that I lost my weight on, if you want, or you can choose your own. Either way, we will teach you how to keep your weight off. You will lose 8 to 20 pounds in 8 weeks. So we're not just giving a discount, we're giving an additional 2 weeks bonus for free. That you get access to everything that this program offers for 8 weeks. What's the catch? This is only good till midnight. That's it. By midnight, you either have to text the word sign up, 845-400-9466. Now, I know you text because all of you here texted in the word mindful. So somehow you figured out how to do text. Or you can email us at keepthosepoundsoff@gmail.com. And I believe Ruchi will put that into the chat, or Darren, if you are here. Most of you are calling in, but there's some of you that are online. So you just, or if you don't have text or you don't have email, you can call their office again by midnight. The office is not going to answer the phone. Just leave a message and leave the word sign up, and we will get in touch with you within the next 24 to 48 hours, depending on how many people. This is a one-time offer. Amazing. 8 weeks, lose 8 to 20 pounds. Who doesn't want to lose 8 to 20 pounds? In 8 weeks, and have all the access, and we will get you to your why. We will find out what is blocking you from reaching your weight, why you are struggling it. So again, this is a one-time offer. I repeat, it's only good till midnight. So you got to, at least in order to lock in that bonus, you got to text or email or call the word sign up. Again, you can do it in the chat. Anybody there to put it in the chat? If not, yes, somebody put it in. Excellent. info@keepthosepoundsoff.com, or thank you, Ruchi, or keepthosepoundsoff@gmail. Or the phone number again is 845-400-9466. We just need to hear that by midnight. And then, or text or call 845-400-9466. It's in the chat, but those of you who are not calling online, you may not see. That is how you will get in touch with us. I'm going to move on a little bit, but I want to tell you a story. When we first started this about close to 7 years ago, and about 5.5 years ago, I live in Muncie, and I used to go every week to an adjacent town. I don't want to mention which community it was. And I would give a class to a few ladies, and we were going through our program. Anyways, a few months later, one of the members called me up, mother of 4 children, young woman, and she says, the strangest thing happened. I said, what? She says, it was PTA night, and my husband went to visit the Rebbe of her 9-year-old. At the time, her 9-year-old was the oldest child. And the Rebbe asked him, says, tell me something. Did you start your child on medication? Some type of medication? And he goes, no, why? He says, I don't know what's happened the last month or so. I've noticed that he comes to school a lot happier. He sits down with the other boys when he's eating his lunch. During recess, he plays with the other children. And he's very excited about doing his homework. And he wasn't like this at all. His whole mood has changed. His behaviors have changed. His attitude towards school has changed. So I figured he must have started him on some type of maybe Ritalin, maybe some type of antidepressant. I don't know what. And it's a Hasidic family. And he says, no, we didn't start anything. And he came home and told his wife the story. And his wife is thinking, she says, you know what it is? I've been working in this program. So it's not just the weight that I lost, but the anxiety level has reduced. They didn't realize what an effect her being overweight was having on her children, to the extent it was affecting his schoolwork, and how much of a positive effect that happened just by her doing this work. So do we change lives? Absolutely. So when I say that we do this to help people, the rewards that we have received and in the last almost 7 years, and the stories that we have heard, is truly remarkable, not just for the person themselves. So if you're struggling, I implore you to check us out. Once again, you just have to text in the word sign up, and we will get in touch with you in the next 24 hours. You know what the deal is, and we'll go over with you. And what my program does, I have not seen another program that has a 98% success rate of losing weight, 95% success rate of keeping it off, but the additional benefits of the anxiety reduction that many people don't realize when they're overweight, myself included. I remember when I lost my weight, somebody comes over to me in shul and they go, wow, Alan, you're so much calmer. I didn't know what he was talking about. I didn't know that I was anxious. I really didn't. And I was 43 years old. I had no clue. The anxiety that this causes, which brings us to the last thing that I'm going to teach about just quickly for another 5 minutes. We're going to go through it again on December 29th after Hanukkah. If you look in your workbook on page 7, there are circles there. And if you look at the first circle, stage 1 of anxiety causes cravings. When a person is anxious, they crave things. And for our discussion tonight, we crave food, we crave sugar, we crave sweet. There are other things that people crave. Sometimes they crave being busy, chaotic, distracting. And if they crave, they're going to eat sugar. So for our discussion here, we put the word sugar, but the truth is you can change that word to anything. Maybe I watch videos. Maybe I hide in a book somewhere. Maybe I go out. Whatever that distraction is, you crave that. And what causes that craving for those foods is the anxiety. See, people believe that the eating of the food is what causes us to eat more food. And next time we're going to get into this more and really get down and explain it on a better level, on a deeper level, to say that it's not the food that causes the cravings. So if you come Hanukkah and you want to eat a donut, and maybe it's on your food plan to have a carbohydrate, to have a sugar, to have a fat, and you decide to eat a half a donut. It's planned before. It will not cause you to eat a dozen donuts. But overweight people, we believe, and I speak from personal experience, that the food causes us more to eat because we say, when I start eating, I can't stop. The reason you can't stop is not because of the food. The reason you can't stop is because of the anxiety. The anxiety is the source. That's the beginning. Whatever that anxiety is, and it doesn't have to be that strong anxiety, it is enough to cause cravings, and those cravings will cause you to eat. And once you eat, you're going to be anxious again. You're going to feel guilty, you feel remorseful, you feel shameful. One of the people was saying before, feel horrible about yourself, which increases your anxiety. And if you have anxiety, you're going to have cravings. So anxiety causes cravings, not the food that we eat. And next time you come, we're going to prove this, and we're going to start off with this. So you want to come on time on the 29th. So I want to thank you all for showing up. I hope to see you at more Mindful Mondays. As I stated, we continue them next January. And you will have access to because you came tonight, you'll have access every time we have one. We'll notify you. You don't have to do anything for it. We already have your email. We have your phone number for texting. And anytime you want to stop it, you're able to stop it. We're not going to bother you if you don't want to know about it. And you'll also have access to the newsletter that we send out every month. That concludes tonight on Mindful Mondays. Tonight, reduce your cravings. So again, you just need to text in the word sign up by midnight tonight, and one of our members will get in touch with you. And you're welcome. And if anybody has a question, we'll open this up now for Q&A. Let me just put the pause in the I should have this recorded. So when you said the why is more important to figure out or knowing what the limited belief is, that's the same thing. The problem why people are afraid in general to understand the limited belief is that they believe they don't have the tools to heal whatever they're struggling with. And they think that, therefore, they're scared that they're going to fail or it's not going to work. And they think it's better off just not knowing. And that's why people are afraid to do this work sometimes, that they'd rather stay frustrated within their negative beliefs because on a certain level, it's working for them. You know, am I going to, like somebody said, if I join and get to my why in the 8 weeks, will I be able to stick to the food plan on my own, or will I need to join the program again when 8 weeks are over? Here again, the perfect example. All these fears about later. So let me stay stuck. Let me stay not knowing anything. And that's much better. Obviously, clearly it's not. And the only reason a person doesn't do this is because it's the belief. So when will a person jump the trigger and join? It's when they've had enough. And that's nothing that anybody can convince anybody of. You need to reach a point, unfortunately, that you just can't take it anymore. And there's nothing that anybody can do to convince you of that. That's something that you know on your own. But I want you to know something, that making a decision today is not going to affect you today. It's going to affect you in 5 years from now, in 10 years from now, in 20 years from now. In other words, the life that you're living today, if you're struggling with overweight, is because of decisions that you've been making for the last 5, 10, 20 years. Imagine if I hadn't made a decision 21 years ago to go to that weight loss program. Imagine. None of you would be here. I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have helped as many people as I have. The list of the rewards and benefits and blessings that I have received are, I can't say endless, but are enormous. because of one decision. With all the fears and all the doubts and everything that went with it. And I had no clue. And you are all sitting here questioning if you should make that one decision today. You will feel the effects of that decision, either positive or negative, in 5 years from now and 10 years from now. In other words, if you don't make a decision today, you will continue to struggle and you will feel that decision of not doing the work for another 5 years, for another 10 years. If you make a positive decision, you will feel the rewards of that decision, but you will feel it in a year from now, in 5 years from now, in 10 years from now. Imagine if that Yankee didn't join the program 5, 6 years ago. He made one decision and he had all the doubt and all the struggles and everything that you're all saying. That one decision, we don't feel the benefits of sometimes for a couple of years. It's rarely that we make a decision today and then we feel better today or tomorrow because we still have the problem. So I can't convince you to make a decision. I really can't. I can only offer it to you. Like they say, you can bring a horse to the water. You can't make the horse drink. I can offer you what we have. Tell you that this is what works. You want to continue to struggle? That's your decision. You want healing? You want happiness? You want calmness? You want inner peace and joy and live with the body that you want? I can give that to you, but you have to make that decision. I can't make it for you. And all those doubts and all those fears and all those questions, the only way that they will be answered is if you join. The only way. I can't, anything that I say is not going to change your mind. Because I'm not here to change people's mind. I'm here to offer. And maybe you're just not ready, and maybe you're not a good candidate for the program. It's very possible. And that's why we get in touch with you to find out if you are a good candidate. Because if you're not ready, we won't let you join. We won't. There's no point. Because if you're not ready, you're not going to do the work. You're not going to be successful.